Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and X-Men, issue number 20. This was a pretty good book. I'm going digital for a while. Yeah. I don't really feel like having more books that I'm not going to enjoy. So I did really want to get this one, though, because the cover was absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the most beautiful covers modern day. Wow, this was good. That Nimrod cover, gorgeous. I'll show you that right now because we're going to talk about who made the comic book. Then we'll talk about the book itself and if it accomplished its goal. So cue that cover. This issue is called Lost Love. Jonathan Hickman is the writer. Francisco Mobili does the art, and Sonny Go on colors. VC's Clayton Cowles doing the letters and design Tom Mueller. Lanil Francis Yu and Sonny Go does that gorgeous freaking cover. And Mike Del Mundo does a variant cover. Head of X, Jonathan Hickman. I don't see what the point of that is, since he's also the writer here. Who cares? A lot of this book was really just running circles on itself and reinforcing things that we already knew. Something happens here, but it's like, yay, woohoo. Here, let me give you an example. I want you to take your pointer finger and stick it straight up. Your index finger, point it straight up. All right? Start spinning it in a circular motion. Okay? Now, I'm going to say knock, knock. You say, who's there? I say, yeah. You say, Yahoo. I say, yeah, that's right. Yahoo. Most of this that was from the Monkees back in the day. Monkees TV show. Look, the thing with Mystique showing up with Forge it was fun. It was so fun. There's the back and forth. They both have an understanding of each other. She can't explain stuff because she's not allowed to, but she's got to push her authority forward, even though she's really just got somebody else yelling at her, Magneto and Professor X specifically. But there's nothing that Raven could do except say, I need you to give me a weapon. Just a really big, powerful weapon. Something of the explodey type. Forge is like, well, I mean, I could do this, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you really did want that. Okay. So they're basically making a singularity, a black hole. It's going to last for like a fraction of a second, and it should destroy the base, and it should destroy a whole bunch of things, and yeah. You remember when I always like the setups that Jonathan Hickman does. He'll do something, he'll let you forget about it, but then boop, he'll bounce back. You'd figure that Mystique can only use that gate that she planted on Orcus Station once, right? Maybe twice. Well, here's the chance where she gets to use it because she's got to stop Nimrod. The problem is that by the time that these jackasses sent her there, Nimrod's already reformed. Now, you remember that Erasmus guy, whatever, with the one head of security that's married to the one chick who's there on the station? She's a scientist. Yeah. She somehow backed up his memory and almost like the human version of the resurrection protocol that the X-Men have, the Krakoans have. That's what she does, but she can only do it once because Nimrod decides to start duplicating himself. Now, once he duplicates himself, so it's 50-50 of the mass, but then one of them, he duplicates it also. So now it's 25-25 and 50% mass. So makes sense that this would be the one that survives, but that one kind of does too. So 25% of it doesn't survive, and that's apparently the stuff that has Erasmus in it because it just wasn't all the data. It's a really weird one, man. Like, try explaining that one to me, you know? I sat there and I looked at it, I was like, and I'm tired, I get it, but that's an awful lot of for me. The rest of the book, it's really just more reinforcing that Professor X and Magneto are actually bad guys. You know, they're not good, they're not heroes in this. They can't allow Destiny to come back. So, you know, Irene, they can't allow any of the seers to come back, the people who can see the future. Can't let that happen. And there's another quick Moyra Mctaggart appearance here. It's only like 1-2 panels, right? It's just to remind you that that's the reason why. Because God forbid they should see through the plan that we always lose. But Moyra has a plan within a plan, probably multiple plans within those plans. It's like, no, you can't. You're stuff happened in this book that we've really already seen. Succeed in this mission that we've set you up to fail by sending you after we already know that Nimrod is back. If you can complete this impossible mission, we will bring Irene back. And when she fails, and they dutifully report back to Moyra, it's a shame that Professor X is such an ineffective leader. You know? I don't know if they're still doing the telepathy abilities that Magneto's always had, because he's had telepathy also. He's been able to mind probe people and everything. And if we're going to argue that Professor X simply isn't going to invade her mind without her permission, talking about Moyra here, to find all the secret stuff that she didn't tell him, then why wouldn't Magneto? Both of them are just like, okay, we'll listen to you. Because somehow you're like super hot and thin and all this stuff, even though you just, for the most part, stay in this room and read, lounged. There's so much wrong that I'm seeing with this. Look, and everybody can have a pitfall. You know, it is what it is. The story was fun, but it's like making a circuit. Here's a battery, and here's a resistor, and here's a capacitor. So you have everything there is to make a circuit. But if there are no other little doohickeys in there to, you know, do things like a siren or a light or a complex machinery base, I mean something, then it's just this thing that goes around and does nothing. There's no purpose for it except to teach how to do it. And that's pretty much what we had here. We had the perfect closed circuit with no attachments, just a circuit. I gotta admit, I was a little disappointed by this otherwise really great comic book that just, it had content, but it had no real purpose that we haven't already seen before. Anyway, guys, that's really going to be it for me. The cover was beautiful. The cover is gorgeous. I might still get the comic book just because I really want that Nimrod cover because, wow, it is hot. But aside from that, honestly, what happened in this comic book except proving that the stuff that happened before can happen again and will, and they're setting up to happen. Anyway, like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.